Halo, nama saya Indah Mutiara Safitri. Dalam video ini, saya akan menjadi penerjemah antara CNBC International dengan Jeff dari AWS. Wawancara ini membahas tentang potensi besar teknologi AI dan cloud di Asia Tenggara. Mari simak terjemahannya.
You know, our journey in ASEAN actually started back in 2010 when we opened our first region here in Singapore, and since then we've opened regions in Indonesia, Malaysia and Thailand, and you know, we continue to invest really, and actually just last year we announced a further $8.8 billion of investment in cloud infrastructure right here in Singapore.
Perjalanan kami di ASEAN sebenarnya dimulai pada tahun 2010 saat kami membuka region pertama kami di Singapura. Dan sejak itu kami telah membuka region di Indonesia, Malaysia, dan Thailand. Kami terus berinvestasi dan tahun lalu kami mengumumkan investasi tambahan sebesar 8,8 miliar dolar untuk infrastruktur cloud di Singapura.
And really, when we look at the bigger picture, and you know, it's estimated that the digital economy in ASEAN over the next decade is going to add $1 trillion to GDP. So a lot of the kind of fundamentals that we see in the market, ASEAN's population is young. You know, 61% of the population are under the age of 35. I've slightly increased the average since I moved here, but ASEAN, you know, also has the fastest growing internet population, 125,000 users daily added to the internet.
Jika kita melihat gambaran besarnya, diperkirakan ekonomi digital di ASEAN selama dekade berikutnya akan menambah 1 triliun dolar Amerika Serikat ke PDB. Populasi ASEAN masih muda, di mana 61% penduduknya berusia di bawah 35 tahun. ASEAN juga memiliki pertumbuhan populasi internet tercepat dengan 125.000 pengguna baru yang bertambah ke internet setiap harinya.
So, you know, we're really committed to ASEAN and really providing our regions and our digital services, as you say, bringing them closer to our customers to help them take advantage of all of these innovations. Right. And, you know, we're seeing customers from large enterprises like Celcom Digi in Malaysia transform using generative AI to customers right here in Singapore like Grab, so probably Southeast Asia's most famous startup.
Kami melihat pelanggan dari perusahaan besar seperti Celcom Digi di Malaysia bertransformasi menggunakan AI generatif, hingga pelanggan di Singapura seperti Grab yang mungkin merupakan startup paling terkenal di Asia Tenggara.
Jeff, I guess the key question here, the thing I think many are interested in, is this will need to rely on a strong backbone. And AWS has not been shy in investing in new data centers across the region. If I'm not mistaken, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore. Are there other markets you're looking to roll out into in terms of hardware, in terms of data centers? Or is this it for now, at least, while AWS tries to consolidate and gets foothold in the market?
Okay. Saya rasa pertanyaan kunci di sini adalah semua ini perlu bergantung pada tulang punggung yang kuat, dan AWS tidak ragu dalam berinvestasi pada pusat data baru di seluruh kawasan ini. Jika saya tidak salah, sudah ada Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, dan Singapura. Apakah ada pasar lain yang Anda incar untuk peluncuran perangkat keras atau pusat data, atau apakah untuk saat ini cukup sampai di sini saja?
Yeah, we're really, I think, pleased with just the investments that we made and see just, you know, tremendous growth potential both for cloud and AI services across ASEAN. You know, we continue to assess opportunities in the market and so on, but we're really focused now on building out the regions that we've created. And
tentu, kami sangat senang dengan investasi yang telah kami lakukan dan melihat potensi pertumbuhan yang luar biasa baik untuk layanan cloud maupun AI di seluruh ASEAN. Kami terus mengkaji peluang di pasar, namun saat ini kami benar-benar fokus untuk membangun wilayah-wilayah yang telah kami ciptakan.
So, you know, we see many, different industries being transformed, from financial services, transformations in banking. So, you know, customers such as Techcombank in Vietnam, Krungsri Bank in Thailand, you know, transforming their operations with AWS to digital banks like Trust Bank and Boost Bank as well. You know, building new financial services for ASEAN on our region. Right. So yeah, there's just unprecedented demand and so on that we're seeing both for digital modernization and accelerating advanced AI adoption.
Kami melihat banyak industri yang bertransformasi mulai dari layanan keuangan seperti Techcombank di Vietnam, Krungsri Bank di Thailand, hingga bank digital seperti Trust Bank and Boost Bank. Ada permintaan yang belum pernah terjadi sebelumnya, baik untuk modernisasi digital maupun percepatan adopsi AI tingkat lanjut.
I'm curious, what is our resources, whether they be power, water, the biggest constraint in terms of rolling out any expansion strategy in offering cloud services? Because we talk about AI data centers and the amount of not just power but water you're going to need to actually drive this demand that seems to be growing exponentially. How does that does that provide like an upper bound or a limit towards how quickly you can actually scale up and how quickly you can expand across this region?
Saya penasaran apakah sumber daya baik itu listrik maupun air menjadi kendala terbesar dalam menjalankan strategi ekspansi. Karena saat kita berbicara tentang pusat data AI, jumlah yang dibutuhkan bukan hanya listrik, tetapi juga air untuk menggerakkan permintaan yang tumbuh secara eksponensial ini. Apakah hal itu memberikan semacam batas atau limit terhadap seberapa cepat Anda melakukan penskalaan?
Thanks for the question, JP. And I think we really forces us to continue to innovate, which is I think in our DNA and what we're really famous for. And when I think about the innovations from an energy perspective and building a carbon-free future, that's really what we're focused on. So right from the climate pledge that we created back in 2017 to be net zero by 2040 across Amazon, we now power all of Amazon's operations globally with renewable energy. Actually, we're involved in over 600 renewable projects globally, so there's actually we're the largest purchaser of renewable energy globally as well. So a lot of what we're doing is really fueling that energy transition. But from a data center perspective as well, we're really innovating just in the data centers, and actually the new data center infrastructures that we're building. If customers move applications to AWS, they're about 4.1 times more energy efficient. There's a recent report just published by Accenture citing that. And actually, an application moving to AWS can reduce its carbon footprint by up to 99%. So again, we're seeing many customers really actually use moving to AWS's cloud as a way to help achieve their sustainability goals. And
hal ini memaksa kami untuk terus berinovasi. Kami fokus membangun masa depan bebas karbon mulai dari komitmen iklim, Climate Pledge, yang kami buat pada 2017 untuk mencapai net zero pada 2040 di seluruh Amazon. Kami sekarang menjalankan seluruh operasi Amazon secara global dengan energi terbarukan. Bahkan kami adalah pembeli energi terbarukan terbesar di dunia. Dari perspektif pusat data, jika pelanggan memindahkan aplikasi ke AWS, mereka akan sekitar 4,1 lebih hemat energi untuk laporan terbaru dari Accenture. Bahkan, memindahkan aplikasi ke AWS dapat mengurangi jejak karbonnya hingga 99%.